face-off that day is at 80 million views. So if there was a pre-existing injury, somebody would have noticed it. He was limping, put his shoes on, he ran right at him. I don't think there was. Anything is possible, but he sure didn't look like it. And for 80 million just on my accounts, that number's got to be massive. And nobody noticed anything, so there you go.
You know, the minute you start talking or thinking about retiring, you absolutely positively should. I haven't heard that from him yet, but you know, he hasn't spoke publicly yet. We'll see what he has to say.
And if he comes out and says, "Look, I want to run it back," would you guys be open to that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this whole thing plays out. There's a lot of unanswered questions right now that will play out over the next several days, and that's why I don't come into these things and start, you know, talking about the future. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, and you know, Monday, and then we'll get back in the office on Tuesday, and it's not even worth.
Dana White has finally addressed the situation, and the conversation following UFC 329 has shifted away from the event itself to the future of Conor McGregor. After another serious injury abruptly halted his comeback, questions have emerged about whether the former two-division champion has already fought his last fight. Joe Rogan analyzed how the injury occurred, while fighters across the UFC shared their reactions. Fans remain divided, with some believing McGregor can still make one final return, and others questioning whether his legendary career has reached its conclusion.
Time I thought he just slipped. It's hard to tell. It's wild. It's in the moment. I thought he slipped. And then when he got up and he threw a kick again, I'm like, oh, I don't like how his leg just gave out. That didn't seem like... I'm still hoping he's just slipping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's just freaking out because he hasn't been in the octagon in 5 years. And then he started moving around and he like grabbed his knee and buckled.
Okay.
And there was some conversation.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there was some conversation going on between him and Max Holloway. And I was like, you know, Max is saying he can't fight, like something's wrong. And he's saying, fight me. He's like, get up. And so he lets him up, and then his knee buckles, and then the referee stops the fight.
Conor McGregor surfacing online, and it was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Conor, 38 years young. Here he is with his wife, Dee, seemingly in good spirits.
Birthday.
We'll be back.
It matches your outfit, even.
We'll be back. Come on.
Come on.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. We'll be back. Let's go. Let's go. I know.
He seems to be in good spirits. He seems to be happy. He says that he is going to be back, which is probably the most... the most important nugget of it all there. He seems to be grounded. Who knows? It's a 30-second video. I saw some people breaking down, whether or not this means it's this kind of injury, that kind of injury, including our pal Dr. Suterer, who said this on Twitter when he saw the video. Lack of brace, assuming he didn't just take it off for the video, means no high-grade collateral ligament injury, MCL/LCL, means nothing about ACL and meniscus. Range of motion being at least 90 degrees of flexion and looking relatively comfortable is good. How he took all that away from that video, I have no idea, but that's because he's probably way smarter than you.
Dana White acknowledged how disappointing it was to see such a highly anticipated event end so abruptly. He emphasized that the setback affected not only the UFC, but also the fans, the fighters, and Conor McGregor himself, who had invested significant time and effort into preparing for his return. As the initial shock faded, the conversation shifted from the injury to a much larger question. Can McGregor realistically make another comeback? Opinions remain divided. Some believe he has built his legacy by overcoming adversity and expect him to approach this setback with the same determination that made him one of the UFC's biggest stars. Others argue that another lengthy rehabilitation at this stage of his career raises legitimate questions about whether he can still compete consistently at the highest level.
I'll exchange with him and he'd shoot in. What's happened? Oh my God, McGregor's done already? Well, he's finished. The new boy is in town. The main man's here. Know what I mean? I can become the face of the organisation now. But, yeah. Great. What a performance from me. Don't want to blow smoke up my own ass, but what a performance.
Said on Monday, I really do believe he's going to fight again. And I believe the mindset around the team right now is, all right, We talked about obstacles. We talked about overcoming obstacles. This is another one, and we're going to try to overcome it. And so I don't think, look, you never know what can happen, but I don't think in his mind that was his last fight. I don't think he wants it to be his last fight. And I think, he's going to have probably surgery and then recovery and then come back and give it a go. The question whenever, and we don't have to deliberate this for the next freaking 365 days, but who would they book him against? You see people saying Chandler. If I had a vote, it would be Chandler. 1000% it would be Chandler. If I had a vote, I don't think it will be Chandler, especially if it's his last fight going into free agency. They're just not going to do it. A year from now, Chandler's older. God knows what he'll do between now and then. It just ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. I could see the Holloway one, but I could also see some people feeling like, we just went through that. Thanks, but no thanks. The whole landscape could be different between now and then. But I think he wants to fulfill that last deal, and then I think he wants to test free agency. As of right now, we don't know the extent of the injury. Hopefully we'll get more word on that. They're keeping their lips pretty tight at the moment. And I can understand that, but it was good to get some kind of update.
After spending years away from competition, another major injury means even more time on the sidelines for Conor McGregor. That has naturally fueled discussion about how the setback could affect the UFC's future plans. Some online speculation suggested McGregor may have entered the fight carrying an undisclosed injury, but those claims remain unverified. McGregor has firmly rejected that idea, stating that he felt healthy going into the bout and that the injury occurred unexpectedly during the fight. Joe Rogan also analyzed the sequence, explaining that the awkward kick, combined with the way McGregor planted and twisted on his leg, appeared to create the perfect conditions for the injury. In mixed martial arts, a single split second can dramatically alter the outcome of a fight, or even the course of a career. The reaction throughout the MMA community was immediate, with John Jones among those who reflected on how quickly fortunes can change inside the octagon and how unforgiving the sport can be.
They're annoyed. He probably just wants to get out of there straight away, doesn't he? I thought he was just slipping. He just wants to get out. Mate, I've injured my knee in there.
It is what it is. I bet you when he ran into that kick, he probably broke his shit. Well, those guys just made the easiest paycheck of their life.
All right, so let down in Sin City last night. So much expectation didn't come to fruition. It's early in the morning, so I'm heading back to the Bay. It's like somebody broke into my house on Christmas morning and took my gift. I discussed that and more in my live reaction from Octagon side. UFC 329 was a great night, but the main event, that sucked. 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific at my YouTube channel. Don't miss it.
Several UFC fighters reflected on the harsh reality of injuries in combat sports following Conor McGregor's setback. Tom Aspinall spoke about the disappointment of spending months preparing for a single night, only for an injury to end everything in an instant. Paddy Pimblett admitted it was heartbreaking to see such a highly anticipated comeback cut short before fans had the chance to see McGregor fully compete. Alexander Volkanovski echoed those sentiments, emphasizing how unpredictable mixed martial arts can be, while other fighters expressed sympathy for both competitors. The biggest frustration, however, is that the conversation has shifted away from the fight itself. Fans are left wondering what might have happened had the injury never occurred. Could McGregor have maintained his fast start?
Throws the kick. Again, I know you'll be saying I'm reading a lot into this in the comments, but just look. Boom, and then it's like a little stumble back. Like, it's not conclusive proof that there was anything wrong, but it's not McGregor at 100% either. Like, that doesn't look great. And then the third time he throws it on the footage, boom, and then he walks away. So we don't actually see McGregor in full flow, like kick, like hammering the pads or... It's almost like, and I'm not saying that this is the case because it's hard to know, when they needed their footage, he's like, all right, let me do the kick I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, potentially that's possible. Because this kick and then him walking off doesn't prove he was fine to me. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he threw the kick on the pads. Aye, and then he walked away immediately. Like, he did 3. It's very possible that there was a tear that was bad enough to not be able to win a fight, but that he was still able to pretend for a minute. Very possible. Fighters have done this for time, by the way.
And weaken the knees, I guess. So, all jokes aside,
I just hope he's good. You know, I know Conor been battling some stuff. Looked like he really been changing. You know, he found God. He had his kids in there. So, you know, during the fight, you could obviously tell his demeanor changed, you know. And I was, you know, shout out to the ref. I was trying to tell the ref sooner, you know, like this guy's kids is front row, you know, I don't want to see him take unnecessary.
Whether Conor McGregor chooses to pursue another comeback or decides that his remarkable career has reached its conclusion remains one of the biggest questions in mixed martial arts. Regardless of what he ultimately decides, one thing is clear. Although his return lasted only a brief moment, its aftermath has become one of the UFC's biggest stories of the year. Dana White's comments, Joe Rogan's analysis, reactions from fighters across the roster, and ongoing debate among fans have kept the discussion alive. Until McGregor announces his next move, the entire MMA world will be watching closely.